Miller.
I would yield to Senator Pat Pariseau.
Senator Pariseau.
Well, good afternoon, all. I figured it was time to cast off that Irish fight that I displayed so often. And it was time to enter the next stage of life in a more willing manner and at the right time. So I'm going to do it. I have had a great ride. I actually got dragged into politics by my husband. He was the person who was interested in politics. It wasn't me. So when his friend came over to visit him because my father-in-law died, and to bring condolences, he said, we're having caucus. Would you like to join us, Ken? Because I know you love politics. And he said, sure, I'll come. So the next morning at breakfast, he said, you became a delegate. What? And you do what? And what do you do next? Well, you go to a convention, I said, and do what? So I go there and they try to make me the chairwoman because they had some fresh blood. They thought, oh, we'll dump one of these big, I said, wait, I can't do it. I don't even know what I'm doing here. So I went through that day, and the next day I went home and I said, don't ever do that to me again. So the next year he went to the convention and then they made me the chairwoman. I said, and you were doing what? I was watching the coffee pot. He drank the whole thing too. At any rate, so that was my entree to politics. But after I ran, I actually spent 15 years of volunteer work for the party on other people's campaigns, tramping all over the state, from Tony Honest up in the North Country to Elton Radallen and down in the corner in Lewiston and all different people everywhere. And phone banking for Emory Barrett, who ran in the neighborhood where I was raised, and even convinced my mother, who never voted for Republicans, to vote for him. And it glued me to the party. So then I got stuck, and then we ran a campaign and sent Steve Engler here in 1976 to be a senator. And some of the people who I saw here when I first came in '88 were still here and served with Steve and Setzefont and all those people who served with them. And they were all a great bunch. And I find the people here, I think it's great to be able to have the experience to be converted to think politically once in a while instead of thinking, oh, I just like to sit around and play the piano. That's what I did most of the time in high school. At any rate, it's great to be in a place where you have such great staff and great advisors, and things like we do here happens because the people need it in the state. We just have to be very, very responsible for everything we do. So every day we're reminded that we may step uneasily once in a while, but we all slip sometimes. I would like to just mention, too, it was kind of interesting to hear everybody's comments. I think it was great to hear these. I have to thank Senator Moi for being such a good coach for me on the judiciary with having no legal background, but it's been fun. And I think you might have a chance now with that mask that you don't know what to do with. Your culture has all that wonderful embroidery and beads. You might want to decorate it up just a little bit and play with it for a while. It'd be kind of fun to do that. and I don't know, it's been just a joyride, but I have 6 kids, 13 grandkids, 2 great-grandsons, and I think I got plenty of knitting I can do for all those people. And Sunday was a nice day for Mother's Day. We had a good time. They came and planted a couple of my gardens and then mulched them too. Took all the work away from me, darn it. At any rate, I'm looking forward to retirement because maybe I can get to the piano once in a while now. Mine's been sitting idle and it's probably got 2 inches of dust on it. I have to give credit to several of the other people too, and Senator Murphy's been very good about putting an amendment in for me last year in a bill that was successful and did go to the governor's desk, and the governor ended up vetoing the whole bill. But this year he put it in before I asked him to do it, and I was slipping this like on amendment around. I said, when can I do this? He said, you don't need to, it's in there already. And so now we're getting our DMV office finally in Farmington. Thank you so much. That was very generous of you because I didn't even ask you this year before in time. And Scott Magnuson never fails to send wonderful people to us as choices for interns, and I just think he does a great job and understands our minds and our operations and our thoughts. And so, and Steve Dill is a treasure. I keep thinking, I was thinking about a phrase that I watch, I sit around, I've gotten kind of addicted to TPT too, watching television. And so, does anybody else watch Red Green once in a while? Remember, we're all in this together. Keep your stick on the ice. He always closes the show with, keep your stick on the ice. It's a Canadian-funded, government-funded program, but it's fun to watch. It's a comic. It's just fun. I think a few of you have been, I bet you watch it, don't you? Mr. Tomasoni? At any rate, you can plug in so many thoughts when you hear everybody's stories that we all have cultural differences and similarities. And I don't see enough of my kids, my grandkids, even though 3 of the grandkids live next door most of the time, and sometimes in the basement when they're thrown out of home somewhere or something like that. And I don't see enough of my kids, grandkids, or my sisters, the 3 remaining ones, and this will give me a chance to kind of reconnect with some of those before we all meet the Maker, but that's a good time too. So I hope you're all there. Bye.